Turn 119, we lost 2 more Dromons here. We'll advance orders, or advance events, and then go clear out some of these ships. We'll pull up additional ships here, move a pikeman into there. We're going to force march and found this city here. Going to start a stronghold there for, I guess, a couple more orders. We'll chop a bit to get some more wood for ships. Chop a bit more. We're going to go down exactly to 25 orders because that's what it costs to rush in one of our cities. So we'll do that. Rush, buy, sell, etc. Start council everywhere. Nothing else makes sense. These folks are just barely staying above friendly. So fortunately, we've got influence landing on them next turn, as well as Chancellor Gifts 2 turns away from that. So should be fine. I'm going to pull out 3 more Dromons here. 1, 2, 3. Getting pikes, and Kushites here. Again, we are not planning to engage this. He is defending pretty well here. I don't really want to go attack. We are just running out the clock at this point. So, yeah. Looks like he moved this Scatterfract over here to get some XP, I guess. I'm not sure exactly why it's over there, but that's pretty good. We've got pretty good flexibility. We can get anywhere we want, although we can't land anywhere right now. He's going to produce 1 more Cata here. I also started a bunch of treachery missions. Sorry, 1 more Dromon there. Started the treachery mission here, here, and here, just to reduce counterplay. That'll land in 3 turns. Just to make sure I don't lose control of the sea, because everything is hinging on control of the sea at the moment. Yeah, he just has 1 boat left though, so I think we're in pretty good shape, and he's only producing 1 more boat next turn. So we should be able to stabilize, maybe anchor in some pretty aggressive posture, like here, for example. Can maybe mark anchor there. Nice, aggressive. Give us a lot of space. Going to be very challenging for him to stop and just out of range of all his bows. And then we can attack at our leisure, see if we can get a nice route chain going. We may also want to cut off water transport with boats, potentially, just to make it even harder for him to reinforce. But again, we don't actually need to attack, so we will flirt with the idea of attacking, but we don't need to actually do it. This treasury is already on its way, so we can start it, finish it. I thought about treasuries everywhere else, but I'd rather just run council at this point. We're basically on a clock at this point, and there's not very much time left. This is the winning build, these 6 years away here. So each of these religious centers, including this one here. So I don't think anything is in range since he moved that Cataphract over there. At some point, we may want to move the elephant onto Christian site, just for paranoia's sake. And then checking everything else, we moved the pike into Kiss. Yep. We've got units everywhere. He might be fighting off Gauls here. I'm not really sure what's going on. Don't have vision. We'll have another Dromon here. This stretch will land in 3 years. Out of curiosity, he is on 8 plus 5, so 13, only 15 cities. So we are on 21 now. So we have a pretty big advantage. Looks like he did not clear some of the interior, potentially, the ways that we did. We settled everything. So there are no more sites available to settle. This salt will be nice for our friends, the sages, if we ever get it online, which we probably won't. Although with Ishtar coming, we might be able to actually rush it out if we so desire once it finishes building. So that is it for this turn. I'm going to send this one back and see how No Legs responds. Still turn 119. I wanted to mention something I forgot to mention. When No Legs took this city, it canceled my Colossus. That's why this worker is just chilling here. This worker was trying to build a Colossus here, but it got canceled. There's no point starting the Colossus now. It takes too long to build, but I did not actually realize flipping control of the city changes, like cancels all wonders within the city. So it's very, very important to make sure you defend cities where you're building wonders, because even if they can't cancel the wonder, they can cancel it by taking the city. So that was a very well-timed treachery for him to cancel that Colossus. It doesn't matter in the end, but something good to know. And just looking at the map, I may potentially use this area as a choke here. So if I put units here, 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 and then a boat here, and a boat here, or a boat here and here, I can block off sea movement and basically have a choke point here and be able to split his army. And going to be very, very hard for him. And then so basically wall off with some swords, something around like that, and then fight with my catas here and have the swords sort of fortified and standing there, and ships preventing coastal movement. And basically if I have 3 swords, I think right here, and then a sword here so he can't coastal move off of that, this would be particularly nice, probably in 2 turns once I get some anchoring up and running. But that could be, yeah, once I anchor there, I should be able to do that. Maybe. Yeah, and then some boats here. So basically something like that to wall it off. And that way he will not be able to actually reinforce through the water. And meanwhile, I'll be able to sort of split the armies. His armies are actually all really spread out. He's got a bunch of forces up here, a bunch of forces here, and a bunch of forces here. I'm pressuring pretty hard with this anchor. He cannot really stop defending, but I kind of like the idea of cutting this off, putting some swordsmen there, and then seeing what we can eliminate here with our many, many kata. We have how many kata? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kata. And the swords will defend us from pikes because he only has a pike. 2 pikes there that I see. Three pikes. 1, 2, 3. And I think that was building a pike, and this one's building a kata. Yep, there's the kata there. It looks like another kata there. So yeah, that might be a possibility. We'll continue, of course, winning the sea battle. And there's the Dromon that we expected to pop out last turn. So you'll have a Dromon here. You should be able to kill this with his archers and probably kill this. Yeah, he should be able to kill that. Yeah, so he'll kill that one and then probably stun 1 more. So we'll lose 2 and he will stun 1 more. But then we have ours on the way. And I like that cutoff plan potentially. So that might be interesting from a tactical strategic perspective, because he doesn't have a lot of great water connections the way we do, where everything is very well connected for us. It is not for him. And that is going to make a difference here in terms of being able to reinforce, especially if we can get swordsmen in these 3 positions, and then boats here to cut off coastal movement. It's going to be very, very hard for him to get forces through. Again, not necessary, but something to consider, especially since it looks like we're going to be winning the sea battle. All right, see you next turn.
Turn 119, once again I lost 3 Dromons, and I'll comment again on the entire turn, replaying it from the beginning. So my queen is doomed, is the main event from the turn, and I'll comment as I'm replaying my moves. So I'll manage to kill 2 Dromons this turn, not using mine. Well, I only have 1 that was created this turn, and the stunner that survived. So I'm picking research, I think, sorry. Yeah, walking through events. So this person is a scholar. I don't really want this guy because he's too old, or this woman because she's slothful, as my hair. I'm picking builds, I don't really know where. So yeah, okay, my 2 archers attacked the Dromons. This one killed the other one. And yeah, I'm mostly walkering because I don't have much else to do since I'm not fighting this turn. trying to work on my iron and wood production in particular. So I'm protecting this ship in Nishapur and healing it. More lumber mills. Starting the palace for my ambition. Next palace will come, well, probably not in Proftasia, but in Pasargadae, which will be legendary in 6 years. More worker moves. More worker moves. Not sure. Alright, picking an apprentice monk. So backline economy from Clerics city. Not sure what I'm doing. Selling resources. I don't see the builds getting started, but that's what's happening, very probably. Here and around. I named the humble philosophy student as my heir. Getting a hamlet for minor money. Blinking at alcaras ships however I can, tutoring my heir. Moving cataphracts and other units up. I resorted to making slingers, which can be upgraded to longbowmen, with the added benefit that if you don't like the choice of promotions, you can draw again by upgrading. Of course, the issue is wood. If I could start longbowmen, I'd do that. But tucking my other last remaining Drummond here, so that attacking it would expose Alcaraz's ships to my ranged units. I'm not sure what's happening with my orders here, as I'm replaying through the turn. Starting a water mill. I was probably just moving some units up, healing from the attacks of the goal, and that's my turn. There you go. See you soon.
Turn 120. Unsurprisingly, No Legs has killed the boats we expected to kill with longbows, but then he's retreated into the city here, and we see he's building one more drum on here. That's fine. He will advance the turn, basically. We are going to anchor, and then we're going to go burn his nets. Burning takes 100 training, but we have a lot of training, and it will cut a lot of his income and potentially also make some unhappiness for him. And burning lets us move out. Pillage means we would be in range of his archers, which we definitely don't want. We're going to move all our ships along. Chop, chop, chop. Workers are chopping quite a bit. We have a lot of orders, so we can afford this chop economy. We'll move our Kushite over. We'll chop some more. And then here we are going to do more chops. We will basically advance through. And then the last cute thing, we got an event to do an alliance with the Numidians. I did that. We don't actually have a way to... Their units don't seem to benefit from our coastal movement and ships, which is kind of weird. Filed that as a bug. But I don't really care about the units. I care about this city site. I'm 2 turns away from Ishtar, so I'm going to rush out a settler here and then settle on this, because you can settle on tribal alliance sites. And that will get me 2 more victory points with Ishtar. So when Ishtar lands in 2 turns, we will have Ishtar's 2 points, and then the 2 points from the other 2 wonders that happen that same turn, so 6 points. And then we will have, if we settle that city, 6 more points from cities going from weak to strong, except for we're going to get another point for settling that city, so 7 points. So 6 plus 7 is oftentimes 13, which will put us 1 point away from victory. So is there anywhere we can find 1 point of victory points? I don't see any cities that are going to go. JRT is probably the closest here. 9 years away. Where is that city? This one. So this one is actually going to flip over. So yeah, that will be our last point. Yeah, that should do it actually. So with that stupid trick, we actually should be able to win in 2 turns. So we won't do anything here. We're just basically finagling, putzing around, not really planning to do much. Yeah, we will. That should actually give us a win in 2 turns, because GRT is going to get close enough to get within 100 from Ishtar. So, all right. Ishtar for the win, which will be very satisfying, because long ago, No Legs beat me in a game with the unexpected double victory Ishtar, which I found unsatisfying. So it will be very satisfying to use Ishtar to deliver a point victory for myself in 2 turns. So that's looking like we've narrowed our turn victory to two turns. So this treachery doesn't actually matter. All this stuff is really just to futz with him. He's going to get another boat here. We, just for security, are getting 3 more boats as well, because we can. Meanwhile, our military production is getting Kushites and pikemen, but all of that should be irrelevant, because I think I have victory in 2 turns. All right, I'm going to send this one back to him and going to do a situation report, because it is turn 120. Turn 120 situation report. Actually recording this after the situation report that you're about to listen to, but I'm putting it before because I forgot to do the timeline last time, so let's just quickly do that. So, since turn 110, where we last saw the situation report, No Legs recaptured the city, Para. We abdicated on turn 112 and had our Orator begin. We started Great Zig, discovered Bodkin Arrow. He captured our seat, awkwardly, which canceled Colossus, and also moved the seat over there. He started Necropolis. We captured Comus and Aspadana, and recaptured our former seat. So we captured these 2 cities and recaptured the seat. We discovered Infantry Square. We founded this city and this city, so Abu up here and Bedit down here, and we completed an ambition. So that's the timeline. You can see here from turn 110 all the way to turn 120. You can sort of see what's going on there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And now on to the rest of the situation report. Turn 120, this time with a situation report once again. All right, so we've made significant progress since the last situation report. We now have these 2 cities. We are poised on the threshold of victory. We have aggressively anchored some ships here, which he's going to have a hard time stopping us from landing. Of course, he does have a bunch of troops, but looks like he's popped out that Dromon that we expected. He could. Wow, that Dromon is brutal. Wow, 10 foot. I guess it has a crit loaded up. So wow, that Dromon could kill that ship. Yeah, it's got a crit loaded up with that focus. Very, very nice for him. Less nice for me. But we are 2 turns away from victory. All this sea combat is just a distraction. We annoyingly burned his nets, which he could repair if he wants to potentially lose workers. I don't know. It was just a thing to do. He's got 2 Dromons here, so 3 ships against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13, 14, 15 ships. So 15 against 3. I think we are in decent shape there. We can afford to take losses. We are out of range of his bows as well, and we are threatening land invasion. All that is irrelevant because we are pushing towards victory here. This city is at very close to additional culture here. Looks like another one of our cities ticked over somewhere. Not sure which. I don't know. I think we weren't at 50 before. Not entirely sure. Maybe we were. So yeah. So let's review. Our future plans are keep him distracted here and finish Ishtar, and found this city next turn here so that we can, yeah, should be doable. I mean, worst case, since we have a tribal alliance, we can actually move his units off if necessary, but we want to found on that tile, and that will get us a city. Should be great. No emissions right now. Succession is assured and completely irrelevant. Tech tree-wise, we are grabbing scholarship on our way to fiscal policy for ultimate full order, happy, whatever we want to do fun times, but not really a priority. The game is going to end before then. We could be getting military prestige for victory points as well, but that doesn't really matter either. Yeah, I think cohorts was the right call here, just because he had pikes. You could also have made a case for windlass, but since he went so hard in longbows as well, I think cohorts was actually well worth it because they get that buff against longbows. Example, we grab a cohort. You can see if we land here, then it does 8 damage to that longbow, which is pretty nice. And the longbow would deal... Don't actually have anywhere for the longbow to attack. I'll show you how much it would deal to a swordsman, but it would not deal as much. All right, so laws and theologies. We are on a bazillion laws, 13 laws right now. Exploration, slavery, because iron is so expensive right now. Freedom is also a possibility, but probably not worth swapping. Vassalage, because that is enormous in terms of unit consumption. Constitution, which is contributing quite a lot to our science. Serfdom for orders. Monotheism for orders. Legal code for tons of civics, 130 a year from that. Orthodoxy for rushing things with orders. Professional army for training from treasuries, and XP from units for combat. Wonder cost reduction from engineering. Iconography for monastery training and temple money. Holy War for being able to hurry things with money and promotion, and then autarky for being able to build horses everywhere, mine quarry output as well. Yeah, so you would pick up coin debasement and then potentially elites, but yeah, I don't really, not convinced of the value of either of these. And 105 training is a lot to burn on storing orders, but we do have a couple legendary cities, so that would actually be 4 orders, so probably worth picking up at that point. Okay, cities by training. We've got Kiss at 61, which is currently hilariously building a settler, but that's okay. Ipu at 50. Outriped, our former seat. Our seat actually shifted over to Ipu after it was seized, and our Colossus got cancelled. There, 42. And then a bunch of other cities that look inflatedly high because they are all cancelling. We've primarily switched to a buy things and rush them with orders or money or civics economy. That's where we're getting 3 drones out next turn, and we have been clear cutting our forests like no tomorrow to keep our hungry need for wood. Wood prices are insanely high right now. Source of science, Yamu is our primary science city at 20, and then a bunch of others are also. And you can see Constitution is contributing quite a bit, as well as Sage rural specialists. I guess we got a lot of wood choppers. Munia, where is Munia? Munia is over here. Yeah, these specialists are giving us a little bit of science as well. And yeah. So you can see the science breakdown there. We are stealing tech, but probably not a big deal. Family opinion is everyone's pretty happy. We are influencing her because she was the lowest one, but everyone's pretty happy at the moment. Take a look at some graphs. 10 million graph, 200. Basically, we switched to orators and have kept everyone above 200, which is really good. Victory points, climbing up. Yeah, we are. Oh no, he's at 50. Okay, I'm at 49. Yeah, he jumped up to 50. I think he finished a wonder potentially or something. I believe so. Yeah, it looks like it. So that's where 50 came from. Maybe, not actually sure. Or I think he just got some culture somewhere. Not entirely sure where 50 came from. Resource prices, you can see stone. Iron is slowly falling in price, largely because of me selling it. Stone has completely collapsed price-wise, and wood continues to be incredibly expensive because of the great sea battles that have been raging for a while. Territory explored, nothing interesting. Territory owned, mill score. You can see some fighting here, and then we are now back about to where we were in terms of ships and everything. Resource production, wood is around 200 a turn and has been steady. Stone around 300 a turn and has been steady. I really haven't been investing in economy a lot for the last turns. Iron is at an insane 500. I definitely overproduced iron, but it's actually, I think I'm used to playing Persia where you need more iron, but Egypt doesn't need as much iron, but it's been very useful because it's let me sort of sell a bunch of iron. Orders, I'm really curious to see what Persia's version of this graph looks like. I'm at plus 120 orders. Basically, you can see where I swapped to the Orator and got opinion fixed, and yeah, Orators are super strong. Of course, they are going tuned down to just 1 order per friendly city instead of 2. But right now, there's a huge boost. Money all over the place since switching to mass council. We've been doing pretty good. Science, you can see where we started adopting some of these texts, some of these laws that take a lot of science, 21, 42, so minus a bunch of science, minus 60 science there. But we don't really have a need for much more science, honestly. Discontent, kind of irrelevant. Culture, producing lots of culture. Training has gone up enormously, largely because of that. As similar to the civics, we've switched to council economy and growth as well. Stats-wise, national wealth, total pop, 104, 106, 36 citizens, which is all reducing family opinion. Right now, I think in a patch that'll change from -5 to -1, which will be a little easier. Specialists, we've got 4 apprentice officers, 6 elder officers, definitely underinvested in officers. Underinvested in specialists in general this game, I would say. 28 workers, 65 military units, including 38 dromons produced. So, 38 dromons produced, which has really helped secure the sea, and the sea has been the key to this entire game so far. 12 swords, 7 katas, 2 pikes, 2 crochet cows, and 4 light chariots. Lost 43 units, killed 134 units, cleared 15 camps, adopted 13 laws, 45 techs, 59-year reign, 5 courtiers, ruins have been disabled, and then 269 improvements, and 1 wonder, the pyramids, which seems like, I guess that was the first one, and we're now building 4 more. So yeah, we never really invested into wonders until the very end, so he's actually ahead of us in terms of wonders, but it does not matter, because we are 2 points away, or 2 turns away from victory. Relative strength, he is similar and competent. On his turn, we have been bumping him down to weak every so often. We can potentially do a great sea landing here, lock access here, or attempt to lock access. Again, not really worth the effort to do that. We are just threatening that. So it's actually very hard to defend, very hard to attack into this position because he has coastal movement that I can't easily shut down, and his longbows actually do deal decent damage to ships. It's usually 3 points a turn or so. This focused ship is going to be pretty painful. We've got 3 of them anchored there, so I don't think I can kill all 3 with 3 boats. So yeah, I expect him to line up a bunch of units. He should have enough units, but he needs to line it up perfectly, otherwise he can get route chained badly. And of course, we've got treachery landing in 2 years. But we will also have victory in 2 years, so that does not matter either. This city's ready. We're going to found next turn there. He is the new. He has a new queen, 18-year-old. I guess she just recently ascended the throne. She literally just ascended the throne right now. So that's also probably going to be a challenge for him to deal with as well. Negative cognoments no longer exist in competitive mode. But I'm sure his orders and opinions are probably pretty challenging. Inheritance can always be very, very challenging. I think 46, our queen is well situated to see to the end of the game. Family tree, let's take a look. So we have, we are down here. Queen abdicated in favor of her daughter, the orator, because she was an orator, and that has been wonderful for this game. And then you can see we have some kids. We did marry into the Midians, which now I guess has given us a tribal alliance, which of course the sages hate because they hate leaders married into tribal spouses, but it's okay. It will give us the ability to win the game in 2 turns from being able to found that additional city. So once again, our path to victory is we are at 49 out of 63. That means we need 14 points to get to 63. We have 3 wonders finishing in 2 turns. The Great Zig, Ishtar, and Lighthouse. Each of them is worth 2, so that's plus 6. That means we need 8 more points. We're also building the Pantheon, finishing in 6 years, and these religious sites are finishing in 5 years. But that, we've got multiple paths to victory. So 8 more points with those wonders out of the way. We have this city, which is going to be at over 400 culture, which means it will tick over. And then we have 5 cities that are weak. So that's 6 points because Ishtar gives you 100 culture in every single city when it completes. So that's 6 points from that because this city, which will tick over, and our 5 weak cities. we are going to found this city here with a settler next turn, which will give us another point. So that's 7 from cities. And then when that flips over to Ishtar next turn, that's 8. You may recall I said we needed 8 points after we have the 6 from the wonders. So that is exactly the path to victory with 14 points in 2 turns. And those points again are founding the city, 1 point. That will put us building 3 wonders, 6 points, 2 for each wonder. So we're at 7 points, founding the city, 1 point, 3 wonders, 6 points, 7 points total. And then we will have 6 weak cities and 1 developing city that will bump over, which is 7. 7 plus 7 is oftentimes 14, and that's where you get to it. So we're protecting the lighthouse. We are not protecting Ishtar, but I do not see a way for him to feasibly attack it because we have double force march, double fatigue force march on. Meanwhile, we have been doing things here, so feeling very confident that victory is in our grasp after a long and hard-fought game. Excited to see this one come to a conclusion, and really looking forward to post-game discussion with No Legs, because this was a very interesting game to play. Particularly interested in how he's been keeping up with science, given that did not see any particularly strong inquiry pumps on his part. So yeah, that ends it for this sit rep. I'll be back with turns 121 and 122, and then we should do a post-game discussion. So yeah, see you in a bit.
Hello, so turn 120, once again a turn that starts in pain. Since it's turn 120, a multiple of 10, we'll have a look at the stats, the record. So yes, I'm not sure if that really makes sense without comparison with alcaras, but most things are going there. Stone, since mostly since I started selling it, but alcaras is probably financing his army with it as well. Prices have plummeted. Victory points were going up, but alcaras is ahead by a little bit, and will be ahead by a bit more as he completes his wonders. In terms of resource production, my science just took a hit and basically got down a bit. It's nowhere near as much of a priority, of course, since I've got barding, because essentially I have all the military tech. Not all. I could go for crossbowmen, mangonels, polyboloi are still options in the bottom of the tree, but that's not exactly where I'm going. I'm going for the discontent boost, as you can see. If you keep checking the records, the discontent decreased actually. That's how much I'm producing, so yeah, it depends on a variety of things. Training is decreasing a bit. Money is decreasing a lot. We'll get to it. Orders is still good, despite not orator good, but good. Food and iron and stone and wood production are okay. Food is decreasing as I'm getting more and more units, despite losing some. So yeah, let's look at the turn. We'll replay it all as we did previously. So there's quite a bit of combat. So alcaras plundered my coastline. Burned my improvements, so I will need to get there, and is mass anchoring to threaten, basically to have his choice of place to disembark while retreating his previous ships and healing them. So my queen is dead as well. I won't show the event because I'm afraid of breaking the redo, but I had a choice of going for a tactician or a zealot, and I picked a zealot. So I expect the first few actions will be picking the discontent boost with 15 cities. That will be 300 discontent less on my people. So yeah, I'm picking various events. I got a nice influx of civics. I picked Zealot as my leader for the extra fatigue move, mostly. And she's really very young, so I will assign her as a governor as well. because it's not individual unit combat that matters at the moment, and I want the steady XP from there. And I got a crowning legacy of becoming known as the Great. Yeah, assigned as a governor there. And regarding the rest, I think I'm moving my workers first. Sorry, the window is not focusing automatically. Yeah, worker moves, more lumber mills, more mines, more lumber mills again. Yeah, swapping archers around to plink alcaras Dromons. So I'm moving units around to gain access to the coast, move my archers where they're needed, and kill his ships with mine. Killing just one, but of course it's valuable for me to draw his ships in range of my archers. So he will still have 2 ships anchored and all that. I decided to still invest in Dromons to be prickly. I have 2 here. He can attack here, but not without exposing his ships to my archers. I'll have 2 more next turn. I regained the ability to rush here and there. I think I rushed this one with orders, this one with I don't remember, or maybe both with civics or training, since we are zealots. And next actions, let me check. Yeah, so here I'm selling resources. I was probably managing cities. I opted to go for moat in Persia so that it heal by itself a bit faster, hopefully. I was told that automatic heal is actually 5%. So with 40 HP, it should be 2 hit points rather than 1, independently of actively healing. And a moat might prove useful anyway. So yeah, still making sure that I get all the tiles on the coast, because the scout is a weak point, but it can only be attacked by 1 tile. So I'm trying to position the stronger units where the weaker units at the bottom of the base. Well, it depends, as you can see. Here it's a cataphract, but the ballistas would be better placed there, more likely than not. And bringing up units from behind and moving up dice ball to start another monastery next turn. So my coastline is entirely occupied, so of course you can strike with the ships and maybe clear a bridgehead. But I do still have a substantial amount of unit. I'll still have 1 more cataphract for Ormizat next turn, and various smaller units as well. A slinger. My economy is suffering, of course, so it's becoming hard to sustain with unit production. Of course, I'm bleeding Dromons, but those Dromons are not exactly doing nothing. They are buying me time, because Alcaraz needs to deal with them. He needs to still produce Dromons. He's still producing some in his capital, and I don't have an agent anymore in Yamu, but I assume some of these cities are producing that. He's trying to get a victory point advantage to secure the long game, that if he cannot conquer me, he will win by victory point, which is a reasonable plan. Wonders available, there are only 2 left, the Colossus and the Hagia Sophia. The Colossus costs a lot of iron, which is unideal, but I could now start it in an interior sea here. So that's a possibility. Also settled this site. Probably, well, if I was aiming to gain visibility and to gain potentially faster supply line along this sea. Not sure where he settled it exactly. I guess here. Well, I'm not absolutely sure, but I think here. I could settle it here to get this tile, but I'm not sure he did that. because if I was in its state, I would like to get this tile, and you would need to settle here to get it. So to get closer and to work toward naval movement alongside the river and the entire sea. So yeah, there we go. So alcaras still has an advantage over me, although not that much. That is ranked stronger yet. Still in research, still moving up. I don't really have a plan to get more victory points, unfortunately, but I think I'm tough to attack. Of course, that's not enough, and it's very hard to come back from naval inferiority, even if I'm trying to leverage my ranged advantage and all that. It's very tough to do, as you can see. So we'll see what that becomes. There's not really any tech target that can unlock that. Well, absolute cataphract superiority is of course always a possibility, but he had quite a few turns to prepare to be in advance for that, so I'm not sure how feasible that will be, although probably he's starting to suffer from lack of resources. He has more territory, so probably not as much as I do. But many of his cities were settled much later, so it's not clear that he would be able to generate that many more resources. I don't have visibility of his empire, so maybe I should relent from stealing tech for a few turns to get more. But there we go. The most damaging impact of this succession is that I'm now negative with the Miranid, because this guy is a scholar. So I need to work on his opinion and that of Duchess Mirod, because as she's, for some reason, she doesn't count as bypassed. I assumed she did, so I shouldn't have cared for her opinion, but actually more for this guy. Well, he's positive, but with plus 40 opinion, I would get in the good grace of the Miranid, so that would be better. I should get a discontent boost in 2 turns, as the steel research will complete at that time, instead of 3 as displayed here, which should be enough to bring me back into the yellow, at least, into cautious, but not enough to get back to friendly. So what that means is that all my hunter units just lost 15% strength, gone from friendly to upset. So we'll have to see how that goes and what that does in the coming turns. Alright, well, see you for the next report, guys.
Turn 121, he did crit with that focus Dromon. The other 2 Dromon are hiding, and he's going to get 2 more Dromons out next turn. Does not matter. We lost our ambassador, so we're going to assign a new ambassador and need to fix family opinion. Fortunately, we can found a city with the sages, which cost us 750 gold and millions to do, but gives us a founding site. Just council there. Kill this. Move more boats up. Anchor here to make him move some more units around. Chop, chop, chop. We'll rush out Dromons with orders. Chop a bit more. You can see our rush Dromons there. See if we can afford 1 more out of Waset. Which we can. We'll steal research and give some gold to the clerics to make them happy. Do the remaining chops. And that's pretty much it. Not much else to do. Should win the game next turn. We have 3 wonders completing, 6 points. We have 6 weak cities, 6 points. And then this city is developing and will become strong. 7 points. And we are 13 points away. So, pretty good. And we need 13 points exactly. So, I expect him to counterattack here. All his units are conveniently arrayed here. Don't really see a way for him to go attack this city and kill it. Presume the Gauls are in the way. Yeah. So he's probably going to go defend here. But yeah, all our sea landing avenues are blocked. He's doing a great job. Actually has quite a lot of units. So we just did lose that one Dromon. Slinger, Scout, and Dromon. So, and all of our missions will land next turn as well. Which will be at the start of our turn and shouldn't matter. We found it here. So, all right, let's go ahead and send this one back.
Turn 121. So we've played this game very slowly for a time, but suddenly we're playing 5 or 6 turns a day. Sorry, I think I don't have music. Yeah, let me bring that back. Alright, so Alcaras killed my Drummond here. He still has his ships anchored. He's additionally threatening in the north. As you can see, I piked my coast. Also generated a new Drummond. I have 2 Drummonds that are promoted to Fireship. He can attack this one, but he would have to kill everything I have essentially and to get everything close to the coast. So I don't know if we'll decide to do that. This one can only be attacked by a single unit at the moment, so it's not obvious how to do it without assigning enough ships to do substantial damage. I managed to kill Drummond here with my archer. Actually, let me replay the turn. We will not follow every move because there are a lot of them. But essentially, I'm opting for a few civilian builds actually in some of my cities. So here you see the dance of my archers as I move them to bring enough unit in range to kill this Drummond. Starting new lumber mills, monastery, moving my units to pack the coast. Picking a new longbowman in some account, which I will let regenerate at its own quickness. I don't know what's happening. I'm picking unit builds. So cataphracts here, one got completed. Starting a new longbowman here as well in Pasargadae. A new cataphract in Tokwana. And this city is still autonomous, so I'm not picking its build because I can't. Additional improvements started. Citadel in Ormisat, lumber mills in the south. Not sure what's happening here. I was maybe selling resources. No. Well, assigning mission to pacify. I'm still negative with my hunters, so I need to bring my opinions under control. Finishing improvements will help, of course, with going to getting me some cognoments. So finishing improvements, killing units, gaining XP, promoting units, everything counts. So we are going there. Yeah. Those are my ship movements. I wanted to protect the Fireship, and I'm switching them to protect the most important units. Of course, Fireship can push an anchored ship and break the chain, so that's why it's a threat. It's not a fundamental threat, it's just a threat of a delay of Alcaraz movement. Actually, at one point, I think it's in my interest to try to create an opening where ideally I want him to land with units, but not enough that he would crush everything, but I definitely want to be able to mount a super strong counterattack to kill some of his land units. And if he lands and I can cut off his line so that his units can't flee, that's ideal for that. Of course, I still have to be able to position so that I can trick him into attacking or something like that. He definitely has agents in most of my cities, definitely in Persia, Samarkand, and Nishapur, so he has full visibility of the coast. Maybe I can stage units here, but since I want to pack the coast, I cannot really hide everything I have, because I need my units on the coast. I have a moat in Samarkand, but that's not enough. I'm going for a tower in Persia, mostly because I cannot really mobilize the resource to make more units for now. So these improvements I deem useful at the moment, because it will help my city regenerate quicker as well when I get damaged. Persia this is confirmed, repairing 2 HP each turn automatically, so that's a good benefit. The tower will have a side benefit for this content, but really it's here just to make sure it doesn't fall in one turn, and ideally I'd want Samarkand to do the same. My economy is of course very damaged by having lost the nets, but we'll see what can happen. Moving, I'm realizing that I can upgrade to conscript, which is a descent unit, but I don't have the training anymore because I picked the fairship promotions. And yeah, starting this temple is the last action of the turn, I think, and I will send the turn to my opponent now. See you.
Turn 122, as we expected, points of victory. We finished the lighthouse and Ishtar and the Great Ziggurat, and thanks to Ishtar, we got a bunch of culture, and that bumped every city over. And now, as we foresaw, we have one. We lost our agent network in this city. All 3 other treacheries succeeded. So, and we lost a Dromon to longbowmen attacking. And looks like No Legs was building up with 4 Dromons here to be able to seize the waves, but in the end, it did not matter. So, yeah, that is exciting. All right, the first and most important question is there actually any incense on anywhere in this map? I did not see any incense. I found the salt, but I did not find incense. I don't actually see incense anywhere. So maybe this map just does not have incense, which is not great, considering 2 of us were clerics, and clerics love their incense. Yeah, I definitely don't see any incense anywhere. Huh. All right, well, that explains why I couldn't find the incense, and that was bothering me for a while. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, GG. Well played, No Legs. Lots and lots and lots of back and forth in this game. I think No Legs attack on turn 92, my Dromons being ready just in time in order to stop the sea landing was critical. Then, of course, who can forget No Legs' epic ore specialist border connection, destruction of my invading army, my arrogance at not destroying the Circus Maximus. I even killed the pikeman defending it, but I didn't kill the worker because I was like, well, I'm going to take the city next turn because all his troops are stranded. What's he going to do? And then the troops come in a heroic, epic move. I can't wait to watch that from No Legs' perspective. Of course, No Legs' marauding army of ranged horse units that took this city and canceled the Colossus with a well-timed treachery at the same time. Yeah. Pretty epic game. Really enjoyed playing it. Definitely took me some time to process the disaster here. And that turn definitely took some time for me to process that. Because, yeah, that was rough. I think it took me a couple of weeks to get over that. Yeah, let's take a look at the stats. So family opinion, we were pretty good all the way through. Victory points, big spike at the end. Resource prices, wood was by far the most expensive. Iron became less and less expensive, and stone totally bottomed out. Territory explored, owned. We did settle those last cities. And mill score. So yeah, when No Legs attacked here on turn 92, he had a pretty significant advantage. I remember freaking out that he was stronger. Then I just sort of kicked into full military production gear. So yeah, he had a pretty significant military advantage when he attacked, and I guess I just got super duper lucky that Dromons were available to break that anchored ship right there. And yeah, and then zoomed forward, and then this was around the turn of my attack, feeling on top of the world, feeling like everything was great. And then, of course, he did massive damage right there because he was able to relocate all the forces that were stranded here and then sort of regrouped. And then we were pretty neck and neck. Yeah, he began to have a really terrifying army. But fortunately, I had sea control and could maintain sea control. And that army could not leave defending his shores, because if they did, my army would threaten the heartland again. So he couldn't safely march across, and the terrain was really terrible for marching. Just hilly, forested. He didn't settle this city. No one did until very late. I settled it very late for points primarily. Kind of surprised he settled this city and not this city, honestly. Imagine an aggressive settle here with some border expansion. You've got a nice little water movement reinforcement thing that's really defensible too. Instead, we mostly fought over this. I also didn't settle this way, largely because I think I was reacting to what he had. Like, this attack really woke up the sleeping bear of the Egyptian economy, and we went into full panic mode. But yeah, right around one turn of 102, we passed them in mill score and then never looked back. Really felt on top of the world at 109, and then that ore movement turn, just, man, I am going to remember that turn for a long time. All right, let's take a look at resource production. Wood production, No Legs had an early lead. I kicked into gear once I got forestry, which I probably got honestly too late. And he actually ends up ahead of me, largely because I stopped investing anything into it and just was chopping victoriously. He's got cataphracts up here. Convoys, interesting. Not sure why he's running convoys. Maybe he needed money. I don't know. Acropolis is on its way there. Cataphracts, yeah, he's in full military production, but clock ran out. Yeah, he walled off that as well. So I could see his entire army basically paraded in front of me from the grounds. So, yeah. Wow. Stone production, big lead for him. That's why he got some of those early wonders. Caught up later. Yeah. Yeah, so stone here. I finally caught up stone-wise there. They were pretty even. And then iron. Yeah, I had an enormous iron production lead. Not entirely sure why. Might be autarky? Did he end up getting autarky? Let's see. No, he had trade league. So autarky is significantly underrated, in my opinion, because it does give quarry output, which is kind of big, and slavery also gives quarry output and mine output. So yeah, those two laws, pretty significant boost. And yeah, that iron lead, that let me power my economy just by selling iron. selling iron to the enemy, but yeah, that iron. Let's take a look at the improvements here. 275 against 267, so pretty close. 55 mines against 39 mines. 35 against 34 quarries. 17 versus 12 farms. He had double my lumber mills. 40 versus 20. Wow. I had 6 watermills and 2 windmills. He had 1 of each, so that also, I think, makes a difference. I'm surprised that our wood production was that close, given the difference in, like, he had double my lumber mills, and again, I was on top of wood production and was only 40 behind after stopping carrying because I saw path to point victory. Food production, I had a long lead for a lot of the game. He was pretty food starved. Egypt's farms are very good. Then order production, unsurprisingly, as Persia, he had a significant order lead at the beginning, despite my start. And then it took off. Yeah. I had an orator start and was still behind in orders compared to Persia. Only pass around turn 57 and then pretty much stay there. And then when I swap to my orator, I think around turn 110, that's where massive order advantage at the end there. Let's take a look at money. Yeah, he had a pretty significant money lead. I think this is when he completed Apadana, if I had to guess. And that obviously makes an enormous difference. And then money once I swapped all over to council, obviously. Science, this does not count inquiries, of course. He does have a significant science lead, and I'm really curious what he was doing science-wise that he had that big of a science lead on turn 55. I did catch up, but that is a pretty big lead there for a long time. Not sure where that science is coming from. Definitely want to ask what was going on there. Yeah. Discontent. Culture. Slight lead for me, but pretty neck and neck, honestly. He did a great job with culture. Training-wise, you can ignore the end spike, because that's just me running council, so it just generates raw training. He did have a training advantage pretty much the entire game. I think that makes sense, considering I only really had 3 cities that had anything worth training-wise, and it looks like he had a couple more than that. 1, 2, 32 training there, 37, 11, 30, 25, 28. So it looks like he had about 5 cities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that were decent, which I think is probably better for this map size. And again, we were playing on a small map, which I think is a little bit too big. But yeah. And then civics. They had a very strong consistent civics advantage the entire game. Ignore the spike at the end because that's council spam. But yeah, that is a huge civics lead. And civics is amazing and everything. And likewise, a similar growth lead. Let's look at stats. Specialists. Okay, total pop 112 against 85. 72 against 56 specialists. Let's see if we can go through here. We've got 4 apprentice officers, 6 elder officers, a lot of woodcutters. He's got 3 woodcutters, 14 apprentice officers, 4 elder officers. Some monks. I had 2 elder monks. He had 7 elder monks. That's a lot of elder monks. That probably was what was helping him with this. Yeah, it's culture. Yeah. Apprentice priests, even. It's master poets. Very interesting. I had 18 miners. He had 1 miner. So another difference there. 28 versus 26 workers. He produced 98 military units to my 73. I had 44 Dromons against 34 Dromons. And 7 triremes. So we were very close. 44 versus 30. Yeah, so I think I only produced 3 more boats than he did. Swords, pikes, cataphracts. We each of us had, 6 UUs produced. He had 5 katas, I had 7. He had 4 pikes, I also had 4. 8 swords. I had 12 swords. He has, of course, the longbowmans, 11 slingers, 2 archers, 4 longbowmans, all of which upgraded to longbowmans. Chariots that, of course, upgraded to cataphracts. So actually, his army is bigger than mine. Units lost. He lost 70 units. I lost 45. So it's definitely getting the better side of the trade. Yeah, I killed significantly more units for the units I had. Camps cleared. He cleared 1 more camp than I did. I adopted 2 more laws. 49 versus 46 techs. Both similar reigns. Both of us got 5 courtiers. No ruins were explored. We looked at improvements. Yeah, and wonders, we both had 4. So yeah, I am eager to take a look at No Legs' perspective, and then we are going to do a post-game discussion. Looks like he never cleared that Gaul camp. I think he settled pretty much everywhere else. Looks like it. 15 cities. So I guess my differences were that city. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah. Oh, he never settled that site. I guess he just expanded the city and just never settled it, and I did. That definitely helped because that's a lot of stone that he missed out on. He's getting some windmills up pretty late as well. And watermills finally. Yeah. Super interesting. What promotion did he get on here? Fireship. So I think he was preparing for a counterattack, except for, as I'm chatting with him Discord now, he did not expect Ishtar, which makes it even feel more sweet, considering I did not expect Ishtar once against No Legs and lost a game. So winning with Ishtar against No Legs that's got to be an achievement or a badge of honor, honestly. Yeah. I pretty much did a sit rep 2 turns ago, so really not much else to show there. We looked at the graphs just now. Yeah, one thing that I was wondering about, like, I seem to remember I had like a schemer daughter or something that was lined up. Yeah, Iput was never, she just passed away, I guess. I don't remember exactly what happened, but she passed away and her daughter inherited. So we went from Great, who reigned, Tetrabastus, who reigned for a long, long time. We can take a look at the reigns here. Yeah, she reigned almost 60 years. Yeah, and then the Orator really at the end there helped quite a bit. So it looks like my distractions here were successful in keeping No Legs occupied. He did not count Ishtar, which is great, because, yeah, don't really know which way this would have gone. I was invested very heavily in holding the sea, and it would have been very, very hard to attack into this, especially with, like, I'm attacking on his side of the map, and he's got military production on his side of the map ready to go, and it looks like he was ready to do a breakout counterattack here, and those longbowmen, oh my lord, those longbowmen, so terrifying against all my ships. Very, very satisfying, and oh my god, the amount of money from this city alone, thanks to Lighthouse now. Should have totally gotten Lighthouse earlier, but like these 630 gold from this city, thanks to the nets. Man, imagine if this was a hunter city. Like, yeah, nets with specialists. Each of these is like 300 gold. This city is like printing money. Yamu the rich. 500 gold in this city as well. So, yeah, this nets, Lighthouse, just so good. Definitely probably should have gotten that specialist. Specialists would have expanded borders a bit. Never quite managed to get these borders linked up. Surprised there's no incense on this map. Yeah. So, all right, that is it for this post-game turn, and we'll be back with a post-game discussion with No Legs, because I think there's a lot to talk about in this game. Lots of fun back and forth, and very, very glad to have managed to snatch victory here at the end with a nice little Ishtar play, thanks to slamming Ishtar down 12 turns ago. All right, see you in a bit.